The California housing market continues to struggle, and Sacramento, California, and the Sacramento metro area is no different. What we're seeing right now is sellers delisting their homes or dropping prices. We're seeing houses linger on the market longer than they should be. And interest rates, well, they look like they're headed back up towards 7 country, which doesn't make buyers too happy. Now, what you're thinking right now in this market is we're getting a little bit more balanced. Buyers tend to have a lot more of an advantage, but guess what? Buyers seem not to really care. They seem to think that later on this year, they're even going to have a bigger advantage. So we're going to talk a little bit about all this stuff this evening. We're going to talk about the Sacramento real estate market, how it plays into California's giant housing market, and what to expect if you're thinking about making the move to Sacramento, California, the Sacramento metro area in 2025. Let's get on with the show right now. All right, guys, hopefully you're having a good evening. We're going to get right into it. We're going to talk. I have some stats for you guys too. And I also have some stats comparing the Sacramento area against the Bay Area, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Dallas, just some random cities that a lot of people call up and they're thinking about moving to as well too. So I want to show you all that kind of stuff this evening. Now let's first get into the market. Market hasn't changed too much since last week. For the most part, you're still seeing buyers get a little bit more of an edge in the market, but buyers tend to say, you know, look, I think it's going to get better towards the end of this year. Now, I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying it won't. I think you got to follow interest rates. You got to figure out what, how the economy is doing, because those numbers definitely move the market, right? Job numbers bad, interest rates, go down. So that's kind of one of the things you guys got to kind of keep in mind. Now, if you guys have any questions about what's going on in the market, feel free to ask them. Hey, Tatiana, how are you doing? Good to see you this evening, or get to hear from you this evening. If you guys have any questions about the market, new home communities, whatnot, just let me know. I mean, we've been out in the field. My entire team's been out in the field like crazy. We've been showing. We did just close a double deal, sell and a buy contingency deal a couple days ago. We put a person into a brand new home in Taylor Morrison, and that happened yesterday. And so the market's active. We have some listings out there as well too. So all that kind of fun stuff. So if you guys are someone who's thinking about maybe coming into Sacramento and you're thinking to yourself, I kind of have some questions I want to ask them, this is a great forum for you guys to basically ask your questions and know about how the market is doing at this exact time, because the market is changing week by week normally, right? Like I said, last week, this week, kind of the same. And what you normally seem to normally see this kind of stuff after a holiday weekend. There's a little bit of a lull at the beginning of the week. Now we're going to go into interest rates as well too, where they're trending. And we're going to talk about how the market is doing basically based on statistics. So hopefully you guys enjoy the program. And if you do, please smash that like button. It would mean a lot to me and to my buddy, that YouTube algorithm. All right, so let's jump right in. All right, so as far as the numbers go, as we've been seeing, for sales are going up, as we all know, and solds are going down. Pendings are going a little bit up, and this is kind of like how it was for the most part at the 25th of June. Now, what I'm noticing as well too is just inventory is just kind of stacking up. And like I said, if you look here, as of last year, we're up 41.5% for inventory. So inventory is just going, man. It is just going. Now here, I have also here more of the current numbers, and this is kind of pretty much as of today. So as we see, the for sales are still trending up. So that just means we're still getting more inventory. Now the solds are going down. That means more people are deciding, you know what? I'm not going to be buying right now. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm thinking the week or the year is going to get better for buyers, so I'm good to go. Interest rates don't seem to be doing too much, so I'm good to go. Pendings have also gone down. So when pendings and sold go down, that for the most part means people are just not as active as they normally are. And that's kind of what we're seeing. All right. Do you anticipate some of the recent pulled listings being put back on in the fall? Maybe. I think, okay, so what I see right now happening is that you're going to see a lot of people who pull listings try to downshift into the rental market. Now, as we all know, leases are usually 12 months. That's what people like. So you're going to see a lot of people probably drop houses out of the market, delist them, probably go for the rentals. Now, if they get it rented, you're talking about they're gone for at least a year. And then I'm guessing, revamping them, all this stuff too, maybe a month after that. So you could see them pop up sometime next year, possibly. But at the same time, I think sellers are really just like, they're not able to get their price. But I do think overall, the sellers I talk to do believe in our market. They say to themselves, you know what, I have an asset. Even though these people are saying that, oh, prices are dropping, everyone's losing, all that kind of stuff too. a lot of people also believe the fact that if they have a house in Folsom, that the prices are only going to go one way when interest rates go down. So a lot of people are actually willing to take it on the chin for a little bit and rent it out and just say to themselves, look, I got a good asset, I believe in the area, and I'm good to go. So I say that for the most part, that's what you're looking at. This summer right now was the last hurrah of the people who owned homes and said, look, we're going to try to sell it this summer. After that, we're going to start thinking about like basically renting it. This was as good as it gets for a lot of those people. Now, you're going to see kind of a division of sellers too, right? You're going to see those sellers that, they're like, we'll rent it. We like our asset. We're good to go. But then you also got those sellers that are like, we got to get rid of this home. So I think what you're going to see is like, it's going to just divide out, right? I think you're going to see like, I don't know, maybe a third of the market delist. And then I think you're going to see a third of the market probably drop prices. And then you're going to have that, that stubborn remaining part of the market that's just going to basically say, I'm going to keep it on. I could care less if it's been listed for 90 days. I'm waiting to get my price. So I think the market's going to divide up a little bit like that right now. But I also do think it's kind of good. Honestly, I do think that for the most part, like I think that we need to get those looky-loo sellers gone. I think if people aren't really serious about selling their homes, they're not willing to negotiate a price, they're not willing to list aggressively and sell their homes, and they're willing to like, let's sell up my house. I think those things are just mucking up our market right now. I think a lot of sellers are sitting on 2.75s. They have inflated prices and they're just waiting. The funny thing is, like, as far as realtors go, I talk to a lot of realtors right now too. And the funny part is every single realtor, they're patting themselves on the back. They're like, I got like 4 or 5 listings. I'm rolling. And then you're like, do you have any like, offers in on those listings? They're like, no, no offers, but I got listings. So I can kind of tell the whole realtor crowd that I got listings. So you're seeing a lot of people right now with listings. People who normally I see like maybe have 1 or 2 listings over the course of the year, they got multiple listings and they're just smiling from year to year, but they really haven't figured out the idea that like, if you don't have aggressive pricing and if you don't have something that, or aggressive pricing, or have that one house that everyone's really itching to buy no matter what the price is, you're just going to waste time on the market. You're just going to waste those open house days. You're going to basically clutter up and muck up our market. So for me, I would say for those sellers with the 2.75s who aren't really that serious, if their house hasn't been hitting at the price point they want, reduce or just get it out of the way, because I think it's frustrating a lot of buyers, and buyers who normally would buy get frustrated and they say, look, this house, it's been on the market for 3 months. They're not reducing a price. I want to put my offer in. It's like, yeah, they're going to keep their price. And I do think that these buyers now are saying, I'd rather go to Disneyland, last hurrah, as opposed to deal with some of these sellers who are very stubborn on their price. They might be sitting on 2.75s. Now, I do think once school gets back in session, if interest rates hover around 7%, I think there could be better deals for you guys out there too. But interest rates have got to stay at least between 6.5 and up. They've got to stay there, right? Because there will be that number where everyone's like, ooh, interest rates are down or coming down. This is going to be really, really good. So I would say this for you guys, and I don't like timing the market. I like doing the whole timing your life thing. But I would say if you're very much like you can't qualify unless a rate goes to a certain spot and you're waiting for something, just understand there is going to be that number that triggers people to come back into our market. And I'll show you guys a little bit on the stats too. Now, another thing too is assumables. Assumables are going to be big things as well too. Assumable mortgages. In fact, we got one coming up in Carmichael. It's a 3 and 2 with a pool, and it's an assumable, and assumable at 3.99. And so for us, like, I was talking to Nikki about this as well too, and I'm like, you don't really realize how amazing that is. Like a 3.99 FHA assumable loan on a house in Carmichael with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, gorgeous curb appeal, and a pool. And so we were talking a little bit about that too, but I think assumables are going to be another trigger word for the rest of this year as well too. So that one's coming to the market probably in a couple weeks as well too, and I'll preview it here. Okay, so let's get back into some let's answer some questions. All right, hey Tony, so glad I can make it for the live finally. Had a Wednesday evening off work. Love the videos. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. I'm glad you can make it. Any questions you have? Also, here's the thing, guys. Any questions you have about the market, put them out there. The other thing too is any type of like notes, any type of like, thoughts about the market that you've been experiencing out there as buyers or sellers, put them also in the comments. They don't necessarily have to be questions, but they can be like, you know what, I was looking at Roseville, it was a little tough over there this weekend. Like, this is the forum basically for people who are thinking about moving into Sacramento, or who have been, or thinking about selling their homes. This is where they're going to get a lot of people chiming in, and it won't be that slice and dice video or these comments that come after the fact. I want to know what you guys think of the market, because I'm living in it, boots on the ground. I've been in, oh man, today was brutal. I was in Carmichael, I was in Elk Grove, I was in Roseville, I was in El Dorado Hills, I was in Folsom, I was back in Gold River. So it's putting a lot of miles on the car, but at the same time, I want to know what you guys think about the market, how you guys are feeling, because that's going to help other people to tune in and watch this. All right, under $500,000 in San Jose SJ Valley is selling really well, but the over 600 market is struggling. Lots of people are moving them and them to the rental market. And that's what I mean. I think what you're going to notice too is the rental market is going to become probably a little saturated. I think rental prices are already kind of soft a little bit now. But if it was me, honestly, like, and I'm telling you guys this, and like, I'm a realtor, so I love selling houses, but I'm telling you guys, like, comparatively towards other markets, Sacramento is still a very, very like up and coming, growing, thriving market. It's just that the rest of the country, as well as us, have been hit with these interest rates, economic uncertainty. We're good. And so for me, when I talk to someone who says, hey, look, I got a house in Folsom, I need to sell it. Even the one we're listing currently, I talked to the guy as well too. I was like, he's like, do you think I should just lower? I'm like, it depends on what you want to do. But I think that the house you have, for the most part, is something in one of the hottest areas of Sacramento, and I wouldn't let it go. I think a lot of people will let go of homes because they're going to, probably drop prices and everything too, and they could regret it at the end of the day. Because I think, like I said, our entire market is kind of suffering, or the entire nation is kind of suffering from this stuff. And I don't think people really realize it. I think people look at Sacramento and they're like, man, Sacramento's getting hurt so bad. I'm going to show you comparatively towards Phoenix. I'm going to show you these other cities, and it's just going to like totally blow you guys away. So, okay, as we can see here, what do we got? All right, we got what's called average price per, this is the, hold on, let me see if I can get back where I was. Apologies for that. All right, so this is average price per square foot. No, this is for right now. Okay, this is, for, like I said, more houses are coming to the market, less houses are being sold, and less houses are going pending. This normally happens too towards this time of the year too. People tend to go on vacations. Summertime, kind of now and again, depending on interest rates, is either we get a last burst towards mid-July, or people just pack it in and go to Disneyland. So it'll be a really, really, really interesting end of July. If it was me and I was a buyer too, like I said, like I talked to a lot of people who are looking to buy, and I'm like, I love August. I love when the kiddos go back to school. A lot of the market just kind of stops for like a couple weeks in August, September, that kind of area. And then all of a sudden people get deals, and then after that, I love the idea of buying in like November, December, and January, when like the rainy season's here. Those are the markets I love. All right, so let's look here. This is average price per square foot. All right, Allison, hey Mark, great job representing Sacramento. Keep it up. Smash that like, folks. I appreciate you guys too. I think the Sacramento Bee is doing like best realtor, best ad. If you guys are bored, go over there, and I'd love a vote. That'd be cool. I think I'm nominated for that, but I would appreciate it. Okay, so here we go. Price per square foot. As we can see, it's actually, look at this. This is crazy. Look at the change, gone down. Price per square foot. No, but now look at this. This is where it gets kind of interesting. It went up a little bit since since a month ago, but now all of a sudden, and this is like basically right now, as of last month, we're going back down. So I mean, I think prices are kind of dropping a little bit too. I think the stuff that's getting in contract, you're going to see a lot of people getting some deals on them. I don't know, guys. It's going to be an interesting market. Like I said, follow the rates. All right, so here we go. What do we got? We got days in the market here. Now, days in the market, what's called, and this is since June 25th. We're talking about days in the market. It's increased, 9.1%. And then as of last year, look at that. That's crazy. So days in the market, we are definitely getting higher, which is crazy. And then now let's look right now. This is about, and then I'm showing you guys real time, like as of this week, what it's looking like. Days in the market is still increasing. Man, it is going to be brutal, guys. Like if interest rates stay where they're at, I just don't see this being a good thing. Now, here's the thing also. You've got, what is it? Days in the market, and this is sold versus for sale as far as what we're looking at. Look at these numbers as far as pricing. Look at that. Look at these numbers. It's just nuts. Our market is just hurting. Look at this. And it keeps decreasing as well too. Okay, this isn't a good sign. I mean, for buyers, I think you guys, here's the thing. I think you guys are going to be getting some deals probably towards the end of this year. And like I said, let me see. Here we go. Look at this inventory right here too. We got 49.1 change since last year as far as inventory. So inventory is getting more and more and more. Oof, we got a 3-month supply of inventory on the market right now too. We're heading towards 4, and that at 4, in my opinion, at 4, we're pretty much into the buyer's market. So it's going and it's trending in that direction. So as far as buyers go, you know, you are seeing some people delisting houses, but also you're just seeing inventory stack up. Like I said, this is going to be the time of the year where you're basically going to see the real serious sellers keep them on. And a lot of people who are going to delist their homes, they're not thinking really list them back up in the fall, even though some might. They're thinking like, let's get into a rental situation or whatnot. Summer's over and they're probably going to pack it in. I don't know. In fact, if it was me and I was a seller, right, and I had to sell my home, and like, let's say I found a house in like Boise and I love it and I have to sell my home, and my realtor's saying, well, you can rent it. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to do that if I just want to get rid of the asset. So I think you could see some price drops, like I said, towards the end of this year, especially for the houses that aren't moving and that have been there for maybe longer than 30, 40 days. But it all depends on bottom lines. Like we've been working with a couple of clients who are dealing with like corporations and flippers, and those guys are heartless. They will just keep that house on the market, maybe rent it, pull it off, do some fixes, but they don't budge on prices at all. So this is what this is kind of looks like. Now, as you can see right here, as far too for inventory continues to rise. Boom, look at that. That's nuts. Inventory is just coming. All right. So as you can tell from these numbers, hopefully you guys can, inventory is just getting more and more and more, even though with people delisting, it's still one of those things. People are just, it's just getting to be a little bit of a bad way for the Sacramento market. Now, here's what I want to show you guys too. And this is going to be really, really fun. Okay. So as we're kind of like talking about the Sacramento market, and everyone's kind of like, oh man, Sacramento got to be one of those spots. I can't believe I bought here, or this, you know, oh my God, this is just brutal. Because here's the thing, we live in Sacramento. People are focusing in Sacramento. So Sacramento is basically like right in front of us. Now we're going to compare Sacramento to like other cities across the United States. And I'm going to show you why Sacramento is still pretty awesome. All right. Hoping to get a 4-bedroom with pool under $650. We'll be starting to look in September since we don't have kids. Hopefully to find Lincoln, Roseville, Cameron Park areas. Ooh, all right. I think, like I said, I like that. I like September. I would even start kind of like browsing a little in August when school gets back in session. I would also, another thing too, is something that I would give you guys, or I would say as far as a hint, or not a hint, or something that I would do, right? I'm seeing a lot of houses being thrown on the market, and they're just not hitting because they need a lot of work and fixing up. I would also pair yourself up with a good contractor that when you go see a house, they can go in there and kind of price everything out for you guys, so you know exactly how much you have to put into the house to make it something that you absolutely love. That would be something that at least I would do, because I'm seeing less turnkey and more just like, let's throw it on the market. We need to get rid of it. There's just not a lot of love in some of these houses that are being thrown on the market. Now, some of them are being lived in, the 2.75ers, and they still look great. It's because people are living there. So for me, at least, guys, I would honestly tell you that pair yourself up with a contractor. Now, for us, we have a preferred list of contractors, landscapers, pool people, AC guys, you name it. Like I said, you got the number right over there. And just give me a call. I can give you some really good people that come right away. My AC guy, I kid you not, it was close to 4th of July. And I said, can you come over and take a look at my AC? And he came over the next morning to hook me up. So we got the best contractors in the business. Okay, before you get him on, and now we're going to bring in some statistics from other cities so you guys can compare and contrast Sacramento to other cities. Before we get into that, let's do our first commercial break. For 6 years, we've been selling new homes in the Sacramento area. Roseville, Rockland, El Dorado Hills, Plymouth Lake, Linda, you name it. We've basically sold in that community. And we'd love to work with you. One of the things our team does that most other teams don't do is the fact that the builder will always pay our entire fee. If the builder pays $1 to your agent, that's what we get. Not like these new rules that make you sign a 2.5 or 3% buyer's commission. It takes money out of your pocket if the builder doesn't cover it. We are one of the only teams in the area where the builder pays our entire fee, so you never have to. Reach out to our team and we'll show you why we should be the team that you are definitely working with. All right, guys, that was a quick little promo. But here's the thing also, we're dropping a video on Friday on what's a Double S Ranch in Roseville, half-acre lots, absolutely stunning. And we're actually pretty tied in with Anthem Homes as well, too, over there. So the sales rep basically said, look, here's the thing. If anyone goes there and they mention your name, we'll make sure that you can work with them and check over the contracts and everything too. So if you guys check out the video on Friday and you'll like it, you don't even have to call Mark or my team. You just go out there and mention us and we'll make sure we take really good care of you guys all the way till the moment you get your keys and then after that. So just tell them Mark sent you. Okay, so let's go into some of the stuff. Now this is, I find very interesting. Like I said, our average days on the market right now is increased. Let's see what that looks like again. Bum, bum, bum. So the days on the market, where are we? Hold on, apologize. Okay, days on market, we're up here, right? We're about, I don't know, about 30. Right here, we're about closing to, all right, let's give it like 35, right? So we're 35 and everyone's kind of freaking out about it, which I get. But if you look at other cities like this, check this out. This is what I found really interesting. Okay, so first one we'll look at is San Francisco. Look at this, average days on the market, 71 days. That's like double what it is in Sacramento, in the Sacramento area. 71 days it takes on the average for a house to sell in the Bay Area. So you think our market's hurting, guys. The Bay Area is hurting right now too. And then let's move it on over and everyone, oh, Vegas. Vegas is great. You can get a house there. It's so amazing in Vegas, right? Look at Vegas. Days on the market. 125 days is the average days on the market in Las Vegas. That's right, guys. Comparatively towards like our 35 days, Vegas is hurting. All right, now let's move it on even more. All right, here we go. We got Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, everybody loves Phoenix. Phoenix is great. Going there, some sun, some golf, and all that kind of fun stuff. Look at this. 84 days on the market. Comparatively towards 35 days that we are here in Sacramento. So when anyone outside that maybe is a big fan of other cities and everything too, just realize one thing straight up. Sacramento, because of the economic uncertainty, because of like, you know, all interest rates being higher than we expected them to be at this point. Like, yes, our average days on the market is like 35 days on the market. But if you compare it to other markets, if you compare how hurting markets are in Vegas, in Phoenix, in Dallas, and even in the Bay Area, guys, with everything that's going on in our economy, guys, we're still okay. We're still doing fine. I mean, honestly, you got Vegas and Phoenix in a good market. They're lucky if they get 35 days on the market is their average. So as far as our market goes, guys, you don't know. I mean, you really don't understand like how good of a market we have, that we're getting hit, bombarded left and right with all these economic, you know, stuff that's going on. Everyone's freaking out about job reports. Everyone's doing that stuff. All these cities are being hit super, super hard. In Sacramento, yeah, we're getting hit. I mean, no one likes high interest rates. I mean, interest inventory is piling on. We got a bunch of 2.75ers out there too. But here's the thing about our market. When interest rates start to dip, who knows when that's going to be, whether it's a year, whether it's 6 months, whenever, you're going to see us pick up the pace, and that days in the market is going to shrink because our market still is very, very like, it still has so much potential. So hopefully this guy, and I think I got one more here. And look at Dallas. Dallas, days on the market, 96 days on the market comparing to Sacramento's 35. So when you see all these videos about these McMansions, or you see all these Phoenix realtors selling you how hot it is there, or Las Vegas, everyone should move here and everything too. Just understand that in those markets, the average house normally sells double the time. It takes double the time for a house almost to sell in some of these markets. Some of them even like triple. So as far as our market goes, we're okay. Not to mention, here's the thing about those areas, right? State jobs, medical jobs, new homes that you can get wherever you want to go. And we're growing. We got a bunch of projects coming to the market and everything too. So, or, you know, just like I said, the entire nation is being hit by all this stuff too. But as far as we go, our market right now, how it is, people look at it that don't know the other markets and they're like, yeah, we're in deep trouble right now too. Yeah. A lot of these markets like Phoenix, they wish on a good market, their days of the market could be at 35. So for you guys, just understand that, you know, when I tell you guys that other cities are being hit hard, this is kind of what I'm talking about. you guys, we got it really, really good here. And the second that interest rate starts to dip again, and eventually it will, we will be on fire again. Markets like Elk Grove, Folsom, Roseville. And by that time, what are you going to see in those areas? You're going to see better parks because all the Mellorews, schools, infrastructure, new things to do like Topgolf and Natomas. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. So for me, I'm loving the idea of living in Sacramento. I love the fact that I think when the interest rates start dipping, all of a sudden we'll have more parks, more schools, more stuff to do here in Sacramento. And it's only going to mean one thing, more appreciation for our homes. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let me know if you guys think I'm right or if I'm wrong. But like I say, I'm not a salesman I'm not selling you Sacramento. I'm like a Sacramento enthusiast. I think we got really good stuff going on here. All right, so let's talk a little interest rates before I get into some of the Q&A. Okay, here we go. This is kind of where it gets a little interesting. Okay, so we're headed back towards 7 country. All of a sudden today, we're going back down. So interest rates are really, really funky. Do I think it'll keep going down? I don't know. I think we're doing that dance of the 7s still a little bit. So at least for me, just be cognizant of where rates are going and they're trending and everything too. Just because, as much as I don't like to time the market, it's not really about that. It's just more about knowing when that big rush of people is going to come into the market if you're someone who's waiting to buy. And eventually there will be a number where people are flying in. Jake De La Rosa. Jake DeRosa. Jake is one of those OG guys in Sacramento. I mean, honestly, he's one of those guys where if I wasn't a realtor, I'd probably reach out to Jake. He's OG Sacramento, 40 plus years living here. He runs a great team over there. He is the man. If you guys haven't checked out his videos too, like there's a lot of people out there who like do YouTube videos, and I think everyone should go out there and basically talk their talk on YouTube and everything too. Like Jake is one of those guys where like he just knows this stuff about Sacramento. He knows the little details about Sacramento that a lot of realtors just don't know. So Jake's great, really good dude, salt of the earth. Love Jake. All right, here we go. 600's brand new, 3 and 2 bedroom, single story home in gated community in Roseville. Google JMC Homes inspiration. You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. You should get your real estate license and get some people in. Yeah, I'm telling you, Roseville is popping. Roseville is really, really, really West Roseville is popping. I mean, like I said, what you're going to notice right now though too is because of the tariffs, because of interest rates, and because people are a little bit freaked out to buy, the new homes are going to be hurting a little bit again. But you have all that stuff happening in West Roseville. You got like what's called the Costco, new Costco that's going to be coming in. I think it is on its way, or it actually might be there already. Pardon me. It's just been a long day. And then you got Placer One, you got Placer Vineyards, you got new schools popping up over there too. And you got builders like crazy. You got D.R. Horton, you got JMC, you got Pulte, Taylor, I think, is going to be building over there too in a couple of years. They're done for a little while. You got Woodside. And we're not just talking about like one builder community. Woodside's got like 4 communities out there. Pulte's got a couple. D.R. Horton's got the whole Amorosa Ranch thing going. So there's a lot of building that's happening right now in West Roseville. I like that area too. I think it's growing. I think you're going to see a lot of land, a lot of commercial. You got what's called the new college that's going out there. You got the Kaiser campus that's going to be going out there as well too. So, like I said, West Roseville is definitely one of those spots. If you're looking for a brand new home, you should definitely check out. And JMC, solid builder. Love their standard upgrades. And another builder, like I mentioned on Friday that I'm going to be dropping, is that Double S Ranch out there. Kid you not. I love doing videos of communities that are a little bit different than most, right? That's why I did that one in Shawwood. And that's why I did this one at Double S Ranch, because I had not seen anything like that in Roseville. We're talking half-acre lots, okay? We're talking like big single-story homes, backyard, and you can either have an ADU or you can have an RV space for like a boat or whatnot. And we're talking high ceilings. It absolutely floored me because the only thing close to that is probably like Tim Lewis, that was building there. But for me, I kind of like the idea that there was a lot of land attached to these homes as well, 2 half acres. So if you guys are looking like 1.5-ish, you guys want something that's dialed in, great part of Roseville City, really, really nice and everything too. Like this community got me off my butt with my camera person. We went out there and filmed it. And if you do go out there and check them out, honestly, if you're looking for something that, crazy as it is, the biggest floor plan, if you have the ADU attached to it and don't do the RV, you're going to be over 5,000 square feet. So for me, I was blown away. That community really, really was nuts. Now and here's the thing for me that you guys should know. I'm not a big fan of a huge house, right? I think 3,000 square feet for me is probably the most I'd ever go. But for a lot of people who bring in mom and dad, for a lot of people who have big families, for a lot of people who like maybe dreamt of having a house this big, this is going to be your opportunity of being in Roseville, having a half acre, having a house that's like, I don't know, I think the smallest floor plan is like 3,800 square feet. And the biggest one goes up to like over 5,000. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, I was touring these homes, we were videoing them, and I totally felt like one of those Texas realtors doing the McMansions. They're crazy. So that's a really good community to check out. If you're looking for a big home on a nice piece of land in a nice growing area, you're still not too far away from like the gallery and the fountains in an area that's definitely growing. So really cool spot. All right, here we go. Should we wait until September or later if we're looking in Folsom for inventory around 700K? I would say, start looking in August when school goes back to session. I would say keep an eye on areas. That would be me. I would say just, get ready. I would say right now, do your education piece, right? Don't look at all of Folsom. Look at certain areas, kind of get out there and just kind of figure it out. The areas I'd look at, Briggs Ranch, I like Rancho Diablo. Okay, this is the time of the show I always get tongue-tied. Rancho Diablo, I like. Those areas close to Folsom Lake, no Melrose, really, really nice spots, totally awesome communities. But I would say if you're looking for something 700s, I would say probably, if interest rates stay at 7, you're going to see pockets of opportunity in Folsom. I'd say towards the end of the year, probably even more. And I would say, for the new homes, if new homes are your thing, you could probably see something under $700,000 sometime probably in August and September. But if you're looking for that resale home, I would say you'd probably have to wait a little bit longer in the year. A lot of these homes too in Folsom, a lot of these communities like the Lexington Hills and Briggs Ranch, there are a lot of like these people have already paid off their homes. Because you got to remember, a lot of them are OG, the original owners, and they maybe bought them for like what? 350 or something. Now they're worth like, 900, 950. So they've already paid them off and they're just sitting on those homes and they just, they don't want to sell them. They don't want to get out of there. And the community is really, really good. So a lot of those houses don't pop up that much, but I would say if you're going to get an opportunity for Folsom, there will be pockets of opportunity. And if interest rates stay like around 7 and we're at 7 interest rate, September, October, November, and December, buyers are probably going to have a field day. The other thing too is I'm seeing more than ever a lot of off-market deals happen. So if you are working with a realtor, like what we normally do is if someone's looking for a house, we'll call every single realtor to figure out if there's something off-market. And a lot of off-market deals are happening right now in our area as well too. I talked to my buddy Chris Balseri, and we're gonna be doing a video of her house that she's selling right now too in Carmichael. But she is like, I put together like 4 off-market deals. So that kind of stuff is definitely happening in our market as well too. So you might not see these things pop on the MLS a lot, but there are deals being made that are just, people don't want to list. People don't want the open houses. They're saying, I want to sell my house. Can you get me this? And then you have the realtor reaching out to a whole bunch of realtors saying, I have an off market. What do you think? And let's make it happen. So just be aware. All right. Dun, dun, dun. What's up, buddy? Jake, living the dream, man. And guys, thank you for tuning into the show. I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me on the show, tuning in, asking amazing questions, and also smashing that like button. All that stuff means a whole lot to me. You guys don't even know. All right. Good man, buddy. Love your live. Hey, Jake, we'll have you on one night. We'll talk a little real estate. All right. If you have to pick today and you work from home, what area would you choose to purchase in with a 700-800? Oh, I like this. Okay. So this is good. If I had to work at home and basically I was good. Okay. So I do kind of like the Bickford area. Okay. But I do think the price point could be a little higher right now. Like, Toll Brothers, you got Tri-Point, although Tri-Point is hurting. And I think you might be able to get a deal, maybe even at 850 at Tri-Point, right next to Toll Brothers. That's instant appreciation. Now for me, if it was just me, depending on like the type of vibe you like, right? Lincoln, I think is a great spot but it gives you a little bit more of the Sedona, Arizona feel to it. If you're looking for 700, 850 and your budget is, I'd say there's some nice spots like Ridgeview and El Dorado Hills. You can find something really, really nice there. Some areas in part of Ridgeview, you don't have HOAs or Mellorues that are really, really nice. If schools are your thing, also, that would be something to be aware of. I'd say maybe like, I'd say if you looked really hard, 850 could get you into communities like Briggs Ranch, like Rancho Diablo. Those are pretty nice as well too. And there's also, you know, a lot of people, even though someone told me that it's on a fault as well too, but Cameron Park, Baby El Dorado Hills is not bad too. Bar J, I think, is a good community over there too. It depends. Here's the thing though, and it's not just only about like where do you think is a great deal. It's also about what's important to you. Because if you say 850, I would say, okay, so let's start looking a little bit in the outskirts. But you're for 850, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for maybe like a 3 and 2, I can find you an 850 in Gold River. I could find you an 850 in Folsom probably. If you're looking for something bigger than that, I think you'd be looking at areas like, I don't know, probably areas like Lincoln. You could definitely do it. I'd say West Roseville, brand new homes, you could definitely do it. Rancho, definitely do it. What else? I'd say Elk Grove too. I mean, you have your pick of the litter, but if you're looking for something like the more house, the further you go. If it's me, I like El Dorado Hills. I think El Dorado is great, except for the PG&E stuff, and stay away from the home insurance. So call my buddy Javier. I would say, where else would I be looking? Because for me, I look at it this way: you're remote, you're okay being far away from stuff, but you still don't want to get into fire insurance issues. You still don't want to get into PG&E. I just don't like PG&E. I'm just not a big fan. So where does that put you? I'd say probably like certain areas of Folsom that are a little further away. I would say Lincoln is PG&E country, but I still think Lincoln's got great possibilities. The bang for your buck there is so, so nice. I'd say if you want to stay in Sacramento County, I mean, you could probably find something nice in Carmichael as well too. So there's a whole bunch of spots I would say, but I also need to get the details on exactly what is your thing. If you're like, okay, look, 850, I'm looking for a 5-bedroom home, 3-bath home, 3,000 square feet. Oof. Okay. Then we have to hit into like, you know, then we have to kind of hit into like some of these areas that are in PG&E, like the Lincolns, maybe even the Galts and everything too. So there's options for you. I just need to know exactly what lifestyle you're into, what type of house you want. Do you want a pool? Like, what is your thing? Because a lot of people also will go further up, like Shingle Springs and everything too, where they can get a little bit more bang for your buck. I'd say Auburn's get a little pricey, but I think you can probably do something there for 850 as well too. But again, all that stuff too, you have to just tie it into having a good insurance broker that's going to tell you, don't go there. That's not good. Because the two big gotchas in, you know, finding an area that's a little remote and yeah, I'm good moving far away is the fire insurance part and the PG&E part. And so we help our clients kind of keep in tune with that kind of stuff so that, you know, you see a beautiful house on a hill, it's remote, it's isolated. And you're thinking to yourself, you know, I work from home. That's perfect. Okay. How about the gotchas? Like, I know the whole Starlink, whatever, but like internet, you know, as far as like, you know, as far as PG&E, as far as brownouts. And then of course, you know, there's fire insurance and home insurance. So if you want to hit me, like my number is right here, or I'll show you in a second, but feel free to call me. And like I said, there's no big, oh, you have to work with me or sign a contract to work with me. Just ask me the questions, give me a little idea of your lifestyle, what exactly you're looking for, and then bedrooms and bathrooms, square footage. Do you want a fixture? Do you want something brand new? All that stuff I can help you with. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Cool helmet, by the way. I know I got to showcase it. All right, here we go. One of the coolest clients came out and got me this. He's like, you got to rep the Bay Area, even though you're not in the Bay Area. I'm down. This helmet, awesome. I appreciate it too. And it goes right here. All right, let's go. All right, cool. All right, Roseville, California looks Centennial Voters Excel. Yeah, JMC is doing some great stuff over there. All right, dang, I'm looking to buy a home in Sacto. Here's the thing about Sacramento. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say dang. I would say like, okay, interest rates, let's follow those a little bit, see where they're going. And I would say majority of the buyers I talk to are waiting, and they're thinking that at this point in time, whether they're looking for a new home or a resale home, towards the end of the year, they're going to get a deal. Only thing that I'm going to tell you guys straight up, and it's because it's not about selling, buying, or anything too. It's just watch the rate. You know, at a certain moment, it's going to drop. I don't know when that is, but if it does, you're going to run into a market that all of a sudden people are waiting. They're like waiting for that new iPhone. They're just waiting to jump into the market. So just there's going to be that number that's going to trigger everyone to jump back. So if you are thinking to yourself, it's going to get better, I'm going to wait. Just don't wait too long. That's all I will say about that. All right. Beginner question in general, when considering new versus used home, does a larger down payment favor one or the other? It's just more about your rate. I would say what you notice right now is that what's called the PMI, 20% conventional, you don't pay PMI, but not so much. I mean, it also depends on how rate conscious you are. A lot of times what I've noticed in resale homes, people will, instead of putting a large down payment, they'll maybe buy down their rate. So I would say it's not really a big piece of the puzzle on either. I've worked with people that have had 20%, 30%, all cash, 1%, even 3%. So it doesn't really matter that much. I would just say it's more about your payment and what you want to put in. For me, I went in 30% myself. Just because I wanted a certain payment, and it just, I was like, look, if I can get my payment there, I'm totally going to be happy, right? This is where I want. So I kind of like adjusted my down payment so that my payment would be where I felt comfortable. And that's what I noticed a lot of people like to do. Now there's also a lot of people that back in the day of 2.75, they were like, I'm not, 2.75, I'm not putting any of my cash in. So it also plays into it a little bit as far as the rate goes. But I would say for you, I would just, talk to a realtor or talk to a mortgage professional and just basically say, okay, what does it look like if I put 1% or 3%, 5%, 10%, 20% and see what that monthly payment looks like. And then ask them also like, mortgage insurance. If I go 20%, I don't have mortgage insurance. So what does that look like too? Because all those numbers are going to lay into the idea of what makes sense for you. For the new homes, they're probably going to give you some good incentive money as well too. So honestly, they'll probably help you cover closing costs at this point. I mean, honestly, at this point, they'll probably give you their firstborn, considering new home communities are hurting that bad. So like I said, and feel free to reach out to me and we can talk a little bit more about this. Everyone's been in the position you are as well too. Everyone's bought their first home. So there's no entry level questions. It's more about just getting educated and just having the, to ask those questions. That's what you should be doing. This is your first time going through the process. It probably won't be your last time going through the process. Get yourself as educated as possible, because the last thing you want to do is not ask those questions and then all of a sudden get your house and then realize that you probably should have asked those questions ahead of time. And a lender's gonna, if the lender's good and really a nice person, they'll walk you through all this stuff and talk to you a little bit about it, give you the pros and cons about all that stuff too. So, and I can too. So feel free to reach out too. Like I say, I'm on the phone all the time and I love to talk to people about real estate, even after doing a 2-hour live. All right. I'm looking for a 2 to 3 or 4 unit, preferably with one unit being larger for the investor. Let me know areas, Midtown. Yeah. But other than that, Citrus Heights, I think that wouldn't be bad. I would say also there are some kind of like in the Rosemont area, the College Glen area too, that I've seen that, near Sac State. I think those are pretty good as well too. I think Corey McKinney, I have him on the show now and again. He's got a few that are actually coming up. So if you want to, Jeremy, my number will flash in a second. If you want to send your contact information, and I'll send it directly to Corey, and he's got some units literally that, he's got at least one new kind of unit like this coming up once every couple of weeks. So I'll let him know, but those are areas I would look at. Where else would I go? Yeah. Citrus is good. Where else? Maybe Roseville. Roseville's just an expensive market for that. But those are the areas I'd probably look at. All right. Texas tragedy will help see a luxury market. Texas Hill Country is beautiful, but a risky buy. Sad what happened because it was mostly preventable. I know. Yeah. That just absolutely blew me away. Yeah, I know. Those things are just completely I can't even imagine being like a parent or a relative that had to go through that. So yeah, my sympathies on that completely. Yeah. Some Sac peeps think this is the Bay, LOA. Hey, I know. Well, the funniest part is, and this is what I run into a lot of when people move into Sacramento, is they walk outside their front door and they're running into people. And a lot of these people are from the Bay. It's like they walk outside and they're like, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, where are you from? Oh, hey, I'm from San Jose. How about you? Oh, from Los Angeles. It's the weirdest thing right now, but like a lot of people, especially in the new home communities, they're just bumping into people that like live in other areas. I mean, it's less running into a whole bunch of people that live in Sacramento, grew up in Sacramento. It's more people that have moved into the area. More people are catching on about how amazing Sacramento is. All right. Are you mostly dealing with families, or do you help investors buy? We help investors. Corey and I do a lot of deals together. So we help investors. Corey's good about like investing. And he loves investors. He loves doing commercial deals as well too. So we've definitely worked with investors. One investor specifically that is the story I bring onto the site. He was a young man that graduated Sacramento State. And instead of like doing crazy stuff, he had saved his money. So what he ended up doing was he bought a house in Rosemont, which is super close to Sacramento State, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or no, 2.5 bath. And so what he ended up doing is he ended up living in the primary bedroom and renting out the other 3 bedrooms to fraternity brothers that he had. And at that point, interest rates were a little bit lower and he was able to do fantastic. And so they were living in the house, paying off his mortgage, and he was living there. So yeah, we work with all types of investors always. So if you are an investor and you want to talk a little business, let me know. We also work with lenders. We have specific lenders that do residential for us, lenders that do commercial. Also, we have lenders that do construction loan, and we also have lenders that do investments as well too. So the investment one is going to be basically like penciling stuff for you. Matt Barba is the guy that we use for the investment stuff. And what he'll do basically is run numbers for you and see if it pencils or if it doesn't. And so you'll say, hey, what does this address do? Like the rentals, how does it make sense? Boom, 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 boom. And he'll run numbers for you all day long. And he loves doing that. All right, Jeffrey, thanks. No problem. And like I said, ask your questions. Damn, 30%. That's a lot of cash. The crazy part is that like in this new economy with high rates, high consumer debt and everything too, like 30%. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people kind of try to squeeze out 20%. 30% for me, it was just because rates were low back then, and for me, I probably should have put in less, to be honest. I should probably put in 20%, but it was something about the payment that did it for me. And like I said, I would say that whoever is jumping into this, if you're jumping into buying a house, you're going to get advice from a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you're the one paying off your mortgage. You're the one dealing with that every single month, and just feel comfortable with it. All right. I know, Jeremy. I know. Trust me. I know. But at the end of the day, the payment was, and my wife was happy with the payment too. Happy wife, happy life. So, all right. When is the best time to apply for a home loan in the buying process? Should I be applying, shopping for lenders first and getting approved before even looking for in the market? Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. And this is just straight up transparency on this. One is I would probably see, okay, here's where it gets a little bit confusing, right? If you're going to be looking at new homes, normally you'll go with a new home lender because the incentives at this point are just too good to pass up. Even if your brother is a mortgage professional and you love your brother, you'll probably go with a new home lender. They're just giving you like 30, TriPoint, what? They're giving you like $30,000-$40,000 cash to go towards your like closing costs, buying down your rate. No other lender is going to match it. So if you're going to the new homes, I would say I wouldn't even talk to a lender at this point. I would go to a new home community, talk to one of the lenders there, and don't have them run your credit, or just have them go through your numbers and everything too. That would just be me, because what you'll end up doing is you'll be like talking to a lender, you'll get a pre-approval, then you go to a new home company, you'll talk to their lender, and then you'll feel kind of bad that you wasted the other guy's time. So if you're going new home, 9 out of 10 times you're going to go with the builder's lender, especially in this market where they're giving away firstborns and the incentive money is just crazy. Now, if you're going in the resale market, there's 2 ways to think about this. One is, I would say, like, if you have lenders that that you trust, I would talk to them first, right? Now, if you don't have lenders that you trust and you don't have lenders that and you're just like, I don't have anyone, I might actually interview a couple of realtors, figure out the realtor you want to work with, and then have them recommend local lenders. And don't have them just refer one to you, have them refer to you like 2 or 3 so you can interview them and talk to them. Now, after you do that, I'd probably go outside and just reach out to 1 or 2 on my own and just vet that. But that's how it kind of works. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're just, going resale, that's kind of how I would do it. If you don't know lenders, the reason why I always say talk to the realtor that you're going to be working with is because, like for example, for me, right? If you reach out to me and you're like, hey, Mark, I want to work with you, I'll send you like 3 or 4 lenders so you can talk to. All the lenders I've closed deals with. We work really well together. They have a great closing ratio as far as like they don't screw up deals, right? They make deals happen. And so by me recommending them to you, that's my name on the line as well too. So that's kind of how I look at it. But like I said, if you're someone and you're saying to yourself, you know what? My buddy recommended this guy, I'm going to talk to him, then yeah, talk to him, but in that case, you don't know anyone, try to link up with a realtor and they'll refer you to they'll refer you to a couple of lenders, but make sure it's a realtor that you really, really want to work with as well too. And then normally they'll recommend a couple local people too. And for me, I know you're going to love this whole like Rocket Mortgage, the cheap interest rate and everything too. But if you're just doing this for the first time, I would always also recommend going with a local lender. There's just something about it that when you submit the offer, it's a local lender. They work weekends just like we do. The ecosystem here is kind of everybody knows each other and it kind of works a little bit better. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that's what I've seen be the most successful. All right. Jeremy, hey, Jake. Thank you. No problem. Tony. Citrus Heights, Rosemont. Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out and connect with Corey. I know Rosemont. Yeah. Those areas, I mean, they're solid, like I said, and Corey's a rock star. I like Corey. He is a hustler. I mean, I'll tell you something. Corey will show like 20 homes in one day. The guy is up at 7 a.m. I don't know how many Red Bulls he has, but he just goes nuts. So it's good. All right, so let's get into some questions and then we will call it night. And like I said, you guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, please smash that like button. Oh, and we're going to do a house of the evening. This is my buddy Chris Balisari's house, and just take a look at it. Tell me what you guys think. This is our home of the week. This is 1749 Hagen Grove Way. This is a custom home in Carmichael, over 4,000 square feet with a pool. And my buddy Chris Balisari, who's listing this home, is going to give us her 5 favorite things about this home. Number 5 is a good one.
Number 1, this is a beautiful custom home surrounded by other custom homes. It has a beautiful park-like setting, 4,157 square feet. Number 2, if you're sick of the traditional white custom kitchens that you walk into every home you see, we're seeing the resurgence of wood kitchens, wood cabinetry. Number 3, look at these beautiful oak floors throughout and the custom mantle, plus all the custom recessed lighting. Number 4, I dare you to find another home that has this much curb appeal. And number 5, the 3 Ps: pool, privacy, and a beautiful pergola.
All right, guys, that was our home of the week and by Chris Balisari. She is like literally one of my favorite agents. She is so awesome. Nicest person in the world. So if you guys are looking for something in Carmichael, you want something that's just amazing, over 4,000 square feet. I mean, pool, privacy, backyard, curb appeal. It's just, I mean, all the details in that house too. Every upgrade there. I was talking to Chris and she's like, oh, they imported this. They did this. There's recessed lighting everywhere. It's a really, really nice house. I'd say definitely check it out. And let's get into some questions. If you guys have more questions, answer or ask them. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. And if you're bored, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. Okay, that's my shameless plug of the night. Okay, Sacramento real estate market cools off. People are enjoying the cool off. And I think it's because everyone's feeling that buyers are getting a little bit more of an advantage. The craziest part is about the buyer thing is that buyers were kicked in the teeth, probably for the last couple of years. Buyers kicked in the teeth, boom, 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 and now I just think the buyers are, like, especially with some of these high priced homes, I think they're just like, you know what, we're just going to go to Disneyland, relax for a little bit, and we'll see you in September, October, November, December. Do I blame them? Not really. Just watch the rate. All right. Still moving to Sacramento, California. Prices are dropping. Just wait. See what I'm telling you guys? Everyone's saying. Everybody is saying. Mantle looks like a cremation door. It's an interesting house. Like, here's the thing for me, and I was talking to Chris about that house specifically today, and I was like, the funny thing about this is, like, it kind of has it just has this old school kind of elegant charm about it. But the thing is, we're moving a lot of people into the Sacramento area, and they want the grays, the whites, they want the great room concept, the modern, contemporary, sleek kind of look. And everybody's looking for that. You know, they basically want to live in a restoration hardware. So that's one of the things about this home. This is like a really, really nice custom home, and it's over 4,000 square feet. So it's way bigger of a house than I would want, but it's a gorgeous house. And if you're looking for something like this house, I mean, definitely check out. I mean, for me, like the stuff in that house, like if you look at it, you're going to think to yourself, oh, that's okay. But I mean, oak floors, really, really nice. So I'd say if you're looking for something big, if you're looking for something secluded, private, but kind of in the middle of everything, it's a great house, and I would definitely check it out. All right. Sacramento homeowners struggle with soaring California insurance. Why would you get dropped if you file claims? So what's the point of insurance? Sounds like a scam. I mean, a lot of people do complain about insurance like that. And honestly, I don't really blame them. Here's the thing about insurance, right? It's like anything else. If you do a claim, all of a sudden what you're going to notice is your premiums are going to go up or they're going to drop you. So what Javier was saying in the video that I dropped on Friday, which you guys should definitely watch, is the fact that he increased his deductible way up high because he's like, look, but if my fence goes down or if there's something that's maybe under $5,000, I'm going to take care of myself because I want to keep my premium because I still have my mortgage. And he gave that really nice tip. In fact, I called up my insurance person too and adjusted my I adjusted my stuff as well too. But it was an interesting tip. But he was basically like, if you do file claims, you can get dropped and your premiums can increase. So if you're basically having home insurance and you're saying to yourself, got home insurance mainly because I got a mortgage, I'm still feeling like I'm in a good position. Like, you know, just understand that for the little things, they could add up and they could even drop you. So just be aware. Boom. All right. Are the rates going to drop? My wife and I have plans to buy a house by the end of the year, 40% down. Definitely not sure if we should wait. I would say this. I would say rates dropping. You know, I'm not 100%. And I would never mislead you by saying yes, no, or the other thing. I think eventually they will drop. I think where you're going to get your deals right now is the fact that if you're looking to buy, what you're going to notice is if the interest rates stay high, you're probably going to see prices are probably going to drop. I mean, it's just a natural, you know, it just makes sense, right? If there's someone who needs to sell a house and they're not seeing the demand, they're not seeing people bite at that price point and they need to sell their home, they're probably going to drop their price. Now, for me, what I would probably do if you were really rate conscious, I would either say to myself, okay, look, I'm guessing in a couple of years, rates are going to drop. I'll refinance then. Or what I would probably do is I'd write an offer for a house, go low, and then I'd write in maybe a $20,000 or $30,000 seller credit to buy down your rate and get the rate you want. But like I said, it's a little bit of a gamble because if you buy down your rate and then all of a sudden a year and a half rates drop, you could be kind of, you know, SOL. But at the same time, I don't see rates dropping. I don't see rates going under 6.5 unless something crazy happens. But then again, like I said, you got to follow them almost on a daily, weekly basis. And if rates drop, I would advise you to not only be ready with your money, even if it's like, you know, like, and this is kind of what I was telling a friend of mine too. He was like, I'm going to probably be buying a house in 2 years. He's like, 2 years is our plan. And I told him straight up, I'm like, look, here's the thing. If you're really rate conscious, you might find your perfect house and the rates could be perfect in a year and a half and you need to be ready to go because I don't know how long that envelope will last. Like imagine the 2.75 envelope. Think of how many people got lucky because they just jumped in and did it. And now they're sitting on 2.75s. So for you, I would say get your education piece done, figure out what communities, areas, house style, your realtor, your lender, everyone ready to go. And even though you're saying at the end of the year, that's when we're looking, what if all of a sudden rates drop and all of a sudden it's just like a crazy, like as we've seen it before, a crazy dip and you see a house and you're saying to yourself, okay, maybe I should just jump in right now. So just get that education piece done. And I know I always stress this to you guys too, but you're going to see pockets of opportunity probably happen within the next, like, I don't know, probably 6 months to a year, little pockets. You got to identify the pockets and be ready to pounce on something if you like it, right? So I wouldn't say to yourself, oh yeah, we're just going to buy at the end of the year. I would know communities, areas, streets, floor plans, and you know how active the area is and how the days of the market on the specific area that I liked and everything too. That way, if something popped up and all of a sudden, I don't know, some tweet went out, or is it called a tweet anymore or whatever, and all of a sudden rates drop or some job report comes out that says like all of a sudden jobs are horrible and rates start to dip, like you're in a position where you know what you want as opposed to just grabbing something and buying it. That would be my 2 cents. All right, let's get to some more questions. All right, boom. Are there many master plan communities in Elk Grove? Yes. I would say a lot of people, if you're looking for something that's kind of like not tracky, I would say you're probably looking at the 624, a little bit of the older part of Rose or Elk Grove. I would say majority of Elk Grove, you're going to see a lot of track homes out there. You know, love it or hate it, that's kind of what Elk Grove is becoming. The 757 is just almost like a giant master plan community. Beautiful homes. You got the Drakes, you got Taylor Morrison out there as well too, Woodside and everything too. But it's going to be pretty much all master plan communities out there pretty soon. I would say if you're looking for Elk Grove and you don't want that, the 624 is pretty good for that. For me, I like the Laguna 758, like by the body of water that's out there as well too, but it still is pretty master planned. All right, is Roseville a shopping and dining hub is Roseville the shopping and dining hub in the region? Yes. Yeah, I would say the other shopping, I'd say maybe downtown, midtown area would probably maybe edge it out a little bit more for the shopping and dining. But Roseville definitely is a good spot. If you're looking for stores, if you're looking for dining, if you're looking for a little bit more of that nightlife, a little bit more of that energy, Roseville is definitely that spot. Now, the negative I would say about Roseville though is with all that dining, with all the shopping, with all the big box stores, the Galleria, the fountains, there is going to be a lot more traffic than in other areas like, I don't know, just other areas in the Sacramento area. You're going to see by the 65 and the 80, there's going to be traffic. 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's a little bit of a bear. And even crazy it is in Sacramento, at noon, there seems to be a lot of traffic between like noon and like 1:30. I can't figure it out. You guys tell me why. All right. Went to the open house in Folsom, 25. It was all original, all affordable. Agent said, email me for inspection reports, then straight up ghosted. 2 days later, it's pending. Like, what just happened? Here's the thing that I'm telling you is there's a lot of off-market stuff happening. One is in this market, you're seeing a lot of it's just, you got to understand right now in the real estate market for realtors in general, it's like feast or famine, right? So for you, I would say that as much as going to like, you know, how can I say it? As much as going to like an open house, talking to a realtor, you got to find a realtor you trust that has your back, that's willing to like hustle for you. You know, I don't trust listing agents straight up. Even myself, I don't double end deals, you know, like if someone comes up and like anyone who's worked with me, you'll know this. Like, in fact, if for even a lot of my open houses, a lot of times I'll get the leads and I'll give them to other agents and just go like, you guys deal with them. I think double ending I think it should be illegal. And I think what you're seeing is a lot of people try to double end these off market deals. And I think there's something really wrong with that. I think what ended up happening probably is that they probably double ended it and they just didn't want you in the mix. And that would just be completely transparent. And like I said, for me, I don't double end deals. I don't think it's ethical. I don't think if you go to court, you should have, you know, the same lawyer represent both people. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't understand why California hasn't outlawed it a long time ago. But I think, you know, what you see is people kind of getting into that. And there's a little bit of shadiness in that. So like I said, the other thing too, I would say this, and this is a big one. I think reviews are huge. And I'd probably light that person up, you know, or at least talk to them a little bit and see what happened. You know, that's just me. I tend to be a little bit annoyed, especially if I found a house I absolutely loved in this market. Wouldn't make me too happy. All right. Let's say I'm looking for a fixer to do a BRRR. Would you say it's okay to directly contact the owner of an off-market property or reach out to a realtor for help? Go directly to the owner. I know I'm a realtor. I shouldn't tell you that. Realtor, no. I would say go directly to the owner. That would just be me right away. I mean, okay, let's preface it. Depending on your realtor, if he's a hustler and he's out there calling other people, trying to find you those deals, like part of the realtor's job should be getting you like those properties, right? And, you know, part of them should be like, they're hunting for you. They're out there trying to get you that property. Like if they're not doing that and you're the one hunting and you're the one getting the property, and then you're like, hey, I found this property. Here's the owner's phone number. Can you reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in selling? Like you're kind of doing everything. Does it make sense? Like one is also the other thing about this market is I think that a lot of people are just picking any realtor, like you really got to work with a hustler. And I'm talking about a listing agent hustler as well too. You guys got to understand, like I said earlier in the video, I know listing agents that have like, oh, I've got 5 listings, and somehow they want a pat on the back for that, sell those homes, and they're just sitting on these homes. So like I said, I make it completely like out there. And I tell people all the time, if you want me to promote your listing on my channel, I will do it. All you have to do is give me a little heads up, tell me what the listing's all about, and I'll promote it on this channel. And this show on this channel, a lot of realtors watch it and they still don't reach out. I know so many realtors that could just pick up the phone and say, hey, Mark, my property isn't selling. Can I send you some photos of it? And can you please promote it on your show? And they don't. So for me, I think that that's kind of lazy. And, you know, you got to work with the right realtor, right listing agent, right buyer's agent. And they've got to hustle, and they've got to, this isn't that market that's a slam dunk market. This is like really is going to separate the people who are hustlers and the people who probably should be in real estate. Then just put in the purchase agreement and open title. Here's the thing I would do. Okay. If it was me, like Jeremy, let me put it this way. If let's say you found the house, you found the deal, and you're good to go, I would probably say, since you did all the work and you're like, look, I just want this house, I just need you to kind of do this for me. I would say honestly, and oh man, my broker's gonna kill me for saying this. I would say like talk to a realtor and just do it at reduced commission. Say, I don't need you to do anything but do the contracts for me. Or I'd go to a real estate lawyer. That would just be me. And I know right now all my realtor friends are saying, I'm not watching this live. But I do believe that, like, you know, there are amazing realtors out there who hustle and get you all that information and do it. But if it's all it is someone submitting a contract for you, you're good with the house, you've already talked to the owner and you're good. I mean, like, I don't really see there's too much work in there. There's liability, but I don't know if there's really too much work done by the realtor. So I'd say you could probably negotiate commission at that point. That would be just me. Like I said, I know realtors right now are hating me, but that's how I feel. All right. Would you buy a new construction home in Elk Grove over an older one in Roseville? I prefer Roseville no matter what. People love Roseville. It's like, you know, Romeo and Juliet. Would you buy a new construction home in Elk Grove over an older one in Roseville? Elk Grove, track homes, killing Elk Grove. There is a little bit of that. Elk Grove is so tracky right now. But I'll be honest with you, like the Drake floor plan, love it. Grayson floor plan, love it. The Arbor Ranch, I don't know. I go back and forth because new constructions have that great room concept. And a lot of the other stuff in Elk Grove, like in the 624, you have that living room no one really uses, but you got to furnish it. Ceilings aren't that high. So I don't know. I have this love-hate relationship with new homes. All right. I hear you. And thank you for the reel. What do you, sorry about this. Pop-up keeps happening. What do you think in this market right now? Which is why I'm watching. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. Again, my eyesight is going at this point. Let me see if I can pop this up. Boom. I hear you. Thank you for your reel on what you do in this market right now, which is why I'm watching. Yeah, no worries. Like I said, for me, I'm transparent on how I talk and what I believe about this market and everything too. I think that there's when you do business in real estate, you can do it the right way by being like just transparent and giving people just real information. And not just chasing a check. I just don't think that's about this. And I don't think in this market specifically, you need to kind of shuck and jive or like, tell a person you're doing something when you don't do something. I think you can do good business. And I think that more realtors should strive to do that. There are a lot of realtors who do, but I think that, hopefully this market will be a little tougher. So the realtors that stick around are the ones who really love this market industry, love what they're doing. And I think people who are in it just for the check, maybe they go start selling solar. Never know. All right. Boom. All right. Curtis Park, one of my favorite spots. I love Curtis Park. One of my favorite spots. And if you guys, are looking for like charming community vibe close to downtown, bungalows, OG old school Sacramento, Curtis Park's definitely that spot you definitely need to check out. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the broadcast, smash that like button. It would mean a lot to me and my buddy, the YouTube algorithm. All right. Boom. Would you buy a new construction home in Elk Grove over an old one? Oh, we did that one. Sacramento homeowners struggle with soaring California insurance. An American dream has just turned into an American nightmare. Bottom line, good luck, right? Insurance is getting absolutely nuts. Now, why I mentioned on this channel is I just don't want you guys getting into a position where you fall in love with a house or you pull the trigger on a house and you realize that you're going to be hating it with home insurance. So for me, hopefully you guys enjoyed Javier on the show. He is transparent. He's legit. He is literally one of the best insurance people in all the Sacramento area. And I'm going to try to bring more people like that. In fact, not this Friday, but next Friday, I'm going to bring on an expert who does probate sales, deals, and everything too. And he's going to give you guys a little bit of the inside scoop on how to actually get deals out of probate listings, where to look and all that stuff too. It definitely is a part of the Sacramento market, and he's going to share some stories. He's going to tell you what papers to look in, how to kind of get ahead of the rush as far as probate. So it should be a good video also, and that'll be next week. Oh, and there's my number also on the screen. If you guys have any questions, text me, call me. Probably after the show, I'm going to be a little beat, but other than that, I live on my phone. All right. Yeah, I know. At 31 insurance, $3,100 insurance. That's long gone. What I observed in the burn home video was wood frame and stucco. This is the least expensive way to build a home. The high values are in the location and land values. The location and land still have the same value. And one of the things that you will see in home insurance, if you have like a $6 million home insurance is going to be brutal. And the California Fair Plan, I think, only covers like 1.2, 1.3 million too. So just be really, really wary when you're dealing with insurance. All right, Sacramento is still more affordable than Folsom, Roseville, El Dorado. Yes, Sacramento is definitely more affordable than El Dorado Hills, Folsom, and Roseville. I'd say Roseville, median, somewhere in the low sixes. Folsom, somewhere in the high sevens. El Dorado is probably in the nines. And Sacramento, you can probably still get something in Sacramento. Certain areas, I'm not saying they don't have their amazing, expensive areas like East Sac and Land Park. Sacramento is still hovering around that 540, 550. All right, huge changes are happening in the Sacramento housing market. Great information. Knowledge is power. And I think for you guys, here's the thing. The market, you're going to see interest rates go up. You're going to see them go down. You're going to see them do everything they possibly can do. The thing for you guys right now is to keep in tune to interest rates, keep in tune days of the market, active open houses. The other thing too to keep in tune with is know your areas, know what you're looking to buy. If you have some time right now and you're saying, I want to buy towards the end of this year, come out here, talk to our team. We can show you some homes and everything too. And we can show you some communities. A lot of times people will come up here and we will just show them around until they find the place they like. Then we zone in on communities, home styles. And then once we know what you're looking for, then we're your boots on the ground here and we can help you find that great place. Now, another thing too, for you guys out there who are thinking about selling your houses, I know back in the day, neighborhood specialists, we have so many people coming in from the Bay Area, from Los Angeles, from Texas, from Florida. They're all moving here. And the number one spot that they're looking to see a nice video marketing your property is YouTube.
Selling your home shouldn't be a guessing game. We've used one tool to sell homes again and again, our YouTube channel. It's the biggest in Sacramento and buyers are watching every single day. One video, thousands of views. One sold home. It's a pattern we've seen work time and time again. Our team doesn't just list, we market, promote, and sell. Reach out today and let's get started on selling your home with a strategy that works.
Now, another thing too we've started to do as well too for these videos is we're going to be doing more home tours. Anyone that lists with us, we'll make sure you get like thousands of views marketed to all the DMAs that it should be, and basically get your house in front of more people. And also these people are probably people who didn't even consider Sacramento. DMAs like San Jose, like Los Angeles, San Francisco, like Sacramento as well too. We target all the high profile DMAs of all these areas that we're seeing people move in from. And that's where we actually market our videos that we do with our videographer. All these are high-end videos, really, really nice. Now, another thing too, we're throwing out there as well too. I talked to my videographer and she basically is taking on that if you guys are listing with somebody else and you're feeling, you know what, my house isn't selling, I need it to sell, and I still love my realtor and I still want them to do a good job, they can reach out to me and I'll connect them with my video person. We will go out there, we'll do a video of the house. Your listing agent will pay for it because they're making a big chunk of change when they sell your house, and we will promote it on our YouTube channel as well too. So if they want to do it, please have them reach out. Like I said, they should be doing all they possibly can to sell your home, and we'd like to help with that. All right, well, here we go. Is Elk Grove one of the fastest cities in California? Absolutely. Elk Grove is booming. It is growing, and so is Lincoln. I know. All right. Sacramento homeowners struggle with soaring California insurance costs. I just got dropped from my insurance company. I was paying $1,700. My first quote was $9,000. Okay, guys, insurance, home insurance is a big thing. Like I said, talk to my buddy Javier, who's on the program. He is a rock star around here too, but I will just tell you straight up, home insurance is a big thing happening in this market all over California. Just work with a broker who's got your back. All right, easy. Just buy a brand new home and ignore today's quality standards. Insurance will be cheap for a few years. Here's the thing with new homes. A lot of people don't realize the fact that new homes are built a little bit more fire resistant. They have sprinkler systems that are updated. They are actually a lot easier to insure than older homes. Now, I'm not saying go new homes because of that, but I'm saying if you are looking for a home to buy in the Sacramento area, we have so many new homes that even if you're an adamant, I'm buying a resale home, do your due diligence and check out the new homes as well too. Even if at the end of the day you say, I don't like the new homes, I knew I'd hate them, I don't want them, at least you saw them. The thing is, options are always going to be good no matter how you cut it. You know, take the time, have your realtor take the time also and show you new homes, show you resale until you figure out exactly what works, the pros and cons to each one, but make it your decision and also have your realtor do that work for you. Okay, would you buy a new construction home in Elk Grove over an older in Roseville? New homes in the Sac region are awful. You get a tiny front door, one living room, a window, two down upstairs, garage in your face, interior is like a mausoleum, and bonus, your neighbors are literally within arm's reach either side. Nobody wants to live that close to their neighbor, especially in fire country. Here's the thing, I will tell you this straight up. Like, there are pros and cons in new homes. Like, one is new homes. I've seen KHOV, you can get yourself like what, like a 4% interest rate. Unless you buy down your rate with a seller credit in this market and resale, you're going to be hovering around probably like 6.5 to 7%. So that's a pro of the new homes. But on the other side of it, resale homes, normally you don't have any Mello-Roos, which is nice as well too. So for both the options of new home and resale, there's always pros and cons. One of the things we do also when we talk to our clients is we lay out the pros and cons of new homes versus resale. And unless a client is completely adamant, we show both resale and we show both new home, because our job isn't to sell you a house. It's to educate you on the area, educate you on the pros and cons of the different houses and everything too. And then you're going to be the one paying the mortgage. So guess what? It's your decision. All right. Andy, you're super informative. Great content. Highly appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Which part of Rockland is developing or would appreciate in par with West Roseville? Okay, so West Roseville is an interesting one because I would say Rockland's interesting. Okay, so there's a piece of Rockland on the 80 that we've worked with a lot of people that they love. Some of it's older, right? But the beautiful part about that piece of Rockland that's like right on the 80 is the fact that I've worked with a lot of doctors, and there's actually a Tim Lewis community over there, Lake and Wood. But in that area, a lot of people who need to get to downtown find that that's a piece of Rockland that's the easiest commute towards downtown Sacramento. People really, really like it. I would say if you're looking for like a new community, something that's going to appreciate, I think Whitney Ranch is good. I think the KB homes there are selling like in the 6s and 7s. And then JMC up there, I think there's some communities that are still in the 8s and everything too. But if it was me and I was looking at Rockland, I'm saying to myself, I want something that's going to like appreciate something in a good location. I love that part of Rockland. Right by the 80 on-ramp, right kind of by Tim Lewis's Lake and Woods. I love that area because it has the location, because a lot of Rockland also, you have to hook into the 65 and it's just further out there, especially if someone needs to get to downtown. So I definitely like that part. So I would definitely take a look at it. It's good. And like I said, there are some communities there that are just completely overlooked. And there's no HOAs and no Mello-Roos. They're older homes, but if you don't mind a little older home that you can put a little love into, the location there is, in my opinion, the best location in Rockland. Because in Rockland, at times, you're going to see like Rockland, just for a lot of people in certain locations in Rockland, it's just as far as almost Lincoln, right? I mean, you know, like all that stuff, you just go Wildcat Trail and you're right there. So the part of Rockland that I like I said, is the stuff that butts up to Roseville or right by the 80 entrance. So I would say look in those areas. All right. Hey, Mark, I'm saving for a down payment to buy in Roseville, preferably 3-bedroom, 3-bath. I have an 800 credit score. I don't know how much I should save. It depends, right? If you're going to go new home, if you're going to go with a new home, you might not need to save anything. Honestly, you might be good because they're going to offer you some money to go towards closing costs. and they're pretty much flexible on like the amount you put in. I think it's going to basically come down to what your monthly you feel comfortable with. So I would say a lot of people nowadays, like it used to be like 20% for the PMI. Now a lot of people will put 10%. It depends. You know, for me, if I was going in, I'd probably go in at like right now with interest rates being high, 10%, maybe 15. That would just be me. But I think also it matters about your payment. Like I said before, I went in at 30% when interest rates, like I probably shouldn't have, but I went 30% because my wife wanted a specific payment, and that made me feel safer and helped me sleep better at night. So I think it just matters about what your pain points are, what you're more like nervous about. If you're saying to yourself, look, I only want to put maybe like 5% and I'm thinking about investing the rest into like stocks or something like this, and you can make more money that way. Yeah. You know, or you don't want to pull them out of stocks. It all depends on your situation. And like I said, Wendy, feel free to call me and we can talk a little bit about your specific situation. I do this all day long. And like I said, my phone number is right on that next screen that we're going to share, but feel free to give me a call and just, you know, I'll give you a little bit of advice on what our clients usually do as far as down payment. But I would say minimum, if you're looking for a new home, maybe 5%, that's norm. And then the maximum that I've seen, especially in new homes, maybe 20% to get over the PMI bump. All right. No problem, Wendy. I appreciate you guys watching the content too. I appreciate you guys watching the show. Smash that like button if you could. And like I said, this live broadcast I do every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. I mean, you know, knock on wood, I haven't missed one in forever. So if you guys want, you know, just mark your calendars. I'm here Wednesday at 7 p.m. to answer any questions you guys might have. Like I said, the market definitely does change this week, not as much as last week, 4th of July and everything too. But I wanted to come on and talk to you guys because a lot of people that I'm talking to are kind of like, you know, we're waiting till the end of the year. And a lot of realtors are like, why would you wait? Buy now. Buyers have great advantage. But I'm a realist, guys. And if interest rates stay at 7, you guys could get even better of a break towards the end of the year. So, I mean, and that's just reality. All right. Thoughts on the secret rule change? Great news for Sacramento, right? You know, I haven't really gone too deep into it, but I will. And I'll talk a little bit about that maybe on my next live. I apologize too. I was a little sick, but I will talk about that a little bit more. Thank you for bringing that to my attention too. And like I said, this is a live show. So what I want to also talk about is I'll talk about Sika, but I also want to talk about the big, beautiful, you know what, and talk about if that affects our housing market as well too. But I will do that next week. I promise. All right. Wendy, look around Inspiration Village, Roseville, Google JFC, Inspiration Village. It's a gated community with 6. You guys start selling. You guys start selling. No, he is right though. Like, or he or she, sorry. They are right. Like JMC gives great appliance packages and they give great incentives for anyone looking to purchase at the JMC communities that they mentioned. It's really, you should definitely look there. Like I said, Wendy, if you want to, feel free to give me a call. We can talk about your situation and we can also talk about like, when is the right time to strike? Cause I do think that, you know, a lot of people are waiting for that right time. And I'm kind of thinking that it could be a little later this year, but it's all interest rate based. All right. Refrigerator, oven, dishwasher, washer, dryer, solar included. I know. God. All right. With the home prices in Tracy getting closer to that of Roseville, do you think the Bay Area will still move to Roseville over Tracy? Yeah, 100%. I think Tracy's nice. I think it's a nice place, but I don't think it's even close to Roseville. I think Roseville's got better shopping. I think also, I don't know, like when people move in here, like Tracy is one of those spots where they don't even consider. I would say for people looking for something nice in nice area, I think Tracy is nice. I think Galt is a good one as well too. I think for like more affordable new homes, Plumas Lake and Linda, but I still think straight up, I still think Roseville is one of those spots that, you know, people love Roseville. And I haven't been to Tracy in a while, so I don't know what their like shopping is like and everything too. But Roseville, the restaurant scene in Roseville is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's close to downtown Sacramento, but I would say that it's pretty good. I'd say the shopping is great. And I think that like you're seeing a lot of new homes being built there as well too, but you also have that old communities, those Johnson Ranch, you got Crocker, you got all these communities that are OG in Roseville. So I don't think so yet. But I will tell you one thing. I have heard, what was it? Dixon's another one that people are looking at for a little bit more affordability. But I don't know. Only time will tell. I might even maybe make a trip out to Tracy. Interesting. All right. What's your thoughts on Rancho Cordova? My wife and I are renting here and are planning to buy near the end of the year. We love this area, and I feel like prices are not as high as Roseville and Elk Grove. Okay, so here's what I think. I think that straight up, Rancho is probably the best bang for your buck in all the Sacramento area as far as what you can get and for the incentives. I think if you're looking for new homes in all the Sacramento area, you will not find better incentives than you will find in Rancho. You know, I think of Rancho being a little satellite of Folsom. I think of like West Roseville being the satellite of Roseville. And then I think of the Vineyard area being the satellite of Elk Grove. So I think like in those terms, right? And I think Rancho is one of those areas that the community vibe is really, really nice. I think as far as the bang for your buck and incentives, I haven't seen any better incentives in any of the new homes and prices than I think Rancho's got everyone beat. So yeah. That's what I would say as far as pricing goes. And if you feel like it, give me a call. Like I said, I know I keep telling people to call me. It's not because, you know, it's just because if we have an offline conversation, I'll know a little bit about what you're looking for. I'll tell you the pros and cons. And hopefully, as you've seen by this program, I'm as transparent as they get. All right. I prefer Roseville over Tracy. The job market in Sacramento area is better compared to Tracy, especially if you're a nurse. I know. One for Roseville. Yeah, I like Roseville too. I think Roseville is a pretty amazing spot to live. And like I said, because Roseville is somewhat closer to like downtown Sacramento, what you're going to see is a nice little growth in like Roseville, Folsom, Elk Grove, whole infrastructure too. So I don't know. For me, you know, I needed, like I said, I don't feel like I know enough about Tracy to say Roseville hands down. But I do know enough about Roseville that I'm a big fan of Roseville, and the future of Roseville, I think, is just bright. The amount of houses they're putting in there, all the new construction projects that are coming in, like the new Kaiser that's being built there. It's just, I don't know. I think Roseville is going to be one of those spots like 2035. And I know it might be 10 years away, but still, I think Roseville right now, I think everyone is going to look at themselves and go, do you remember when all these new homes were being built and everything too? I think it's going to be one of those spots. So I like Roseville. All right. Absolutely. Is his backyard a must in a home? Absolutely. Looked at new construction homes. I could touch the house and back fence at a majority of them. Okay. So I will tell you this, guys, too. The other thing that I have noticed in like the Rancho area, I found houses that had bigger backyards. Some houses in Roseville definitely had them, like the one in the Double S Ranch had them, but you know, the price tag was higher. I would say in Rancho, you could still probably get something in the fives. Where in West Roseville, it's hard to find anything in the fives. So yeah, I'm still liking that. And like new construction, I get it. But at the same time with new construction, if you're worried about energy costs, the insulation on the new homes, it's just blows doors on the older homes. As far as smart home technology, as far as great room concept, I mean, it's just a battle between resale and new homes. It depends on what you like, but definitely see both. All right, next one. Thoughts? It's going to go up, going to go down more come October. Okay, everyone thinks prices are going to go down. Wait, let me ask you guys out there, for everyone who's still watching the show, do you guys think that come October, prices are going to drop even further in the Sacramento area? I want to know what you guys said. Who should we get an estimate for in repairs when buying a home to negotiate with the sellers? I would say I use a company called Pillar to Post. They're pretty good. It depends also. If you're like looking as an investor, I would say maybe find this guy named Jeff that does a lot of my investor properties, and he does, you know, he goes in there. I would say for Pillar to Post, what they do that I really like is the fact they do infrared scanning, check out moisture behind the walls, and they do air purification. They're really, really good company. Then what they'll do is after you go through the inspection process, home inspection process, and I always recommend doing home, pest, you know, roof if the home inspector tells you like there's some big issues. But at the same time, the home inspector will go there, give you like a 70, 80 page report. And with that, he'll list pretty much the big ticket items at the very beginning of the report. And then you'll be able to write up the request for repairs to the agent based on the report that you get from your home inspector. Now, the other thing I recommend is doing a pest inspection as well too. Pest and home are different. home I consider like kind of like a, you know, when you go do a physical and, you know, you go there to the doctor and they do everything. And then let's say they notice something, they'll send you to a specialist. That's kind of what I do. The home inspector is the guy who goes upstairs on the roof, you know, sees everything, and they'll look at me and say, you know what, you're going to need a sewer inspector, or you're going to need this, or you're going to need that. Because he'll point out stuff that normally isn't there. And then I go to like specialized people who can do specialized reports if I see some like, you know, danger signs, right? Especially in the roof. Like if he goes through and he sticks his head up and he goes, oh man, there's some moisture here, or I'm seeing something I shouldn't see. My inspectors and I are like this. He'll say, get the roof guy out here. And then we'll get the roof guy out here. So I look at the home inspector as the general of the whole thing. He'll tell you if you should need additional specialists to come in to look at stuff. A lot of times people want to do sewer as well too. And I'd recommend sewer, even if the home inspector said, no, everything's running fine. If you have like deep roots, like a big tree in the front yard or something, that's pretty good. Pool inspector, I would probably have them do pool inspections. I think it's a big thing because pools are very, very costly. So with all those done, then you just do a request for repair. You list all the items, you send it over to the other agent, or you have your agent send it to the other agent. And then you kind of negotiate the cost. Now, a lot of people, when they're doing their first transaction, they're kind of like, you know, oh, they're like, I want all these things fixed. But the realism of it is like, these things can be fixed, but it's going to take you like a month and a half to do it. So normally you end up getting some sort of credit that you apply towards the deal. So like, let's say you have this big pest report, right? And the pest report's good because it'll actually tell you how much it costs to basically get all the pest section 1 items done, right? And it's usually a little bit of a markup. Like, normally people know in real estate that it's like, you know, double what you can get someone else to do it. But the pest guy will come in and say, okay, you got all this dry rot, all this stuff. And it's so funny with pest people. Like when you do a pest report, especially if it's your first transaction, you're thinking, oh, it's a pest report. So it's like rodents, it's like this. It is. But the main thing that they find is dry rot. And dry rot is pricey. So you'll see dry rot and it'll be like $7,000 worth of dry rot you need to fix. So that's a line item that you really don't need to price out. That's $7,000 you can throw in and say, I need section 1 cleared. And then as far as the home report goes, I would say talk to a contractor, because a home inspector isn't going to tell you pricing. He's just going to say like, these are the things that, you know, I would want fixed. And these are the things that basically are like, you know, the big ticket items. These are the ones that are, they're easy to fix and everything too. And then I'd go with the contractor to ask them exactly how much all that stuff needs, you know, would cost to be fixed. And then I would send all those estimates over and see what kind of price you can kind of like get, and not price, what credit or whatnot you can get. Usually you can do that in a form of like a price reduction or like a seller credit to go to you towards your closing costs or something. But that's how they usually do it, so it doesn't stall the deal a little bit. Hopefully that helped. And remember, I'm saying this at the end of my live broadcast, so I'm trying my best to not grab my coffee. All right. Joined late. Have we talked about how insane Shawwood is in Folsom Ranch? Those prices are nuts for those lots, no matter how nice the houses are. You know, I'm with you. Like, okay, first of all, here's the thing about Shawwood that kills me. And here's the thing. They shouldn't have built those homes so close to the 50. I mean, those are gorgeous homes. They're beautiful and everything too. Like the location for where they're building the homes, it's just the homes I think are nice. I think you're right. The prices are, I mean, the prices, they are the priciest new home in Folsom Ranch. And we're talking, they're like what, maybe like $300,000 to $400,000 more pricey than Preserve by Toll Brothers. So yeah, I think they're going to start having to drop prices. The other thing too that's funny is I talked to the lady who's up there selling their homes, and she's like, yeah, all the lots that are like not on the freeway, we have people interested, but the lots that we're selling first are the ones that face the 50, and there's no one who's buying those homes. So I think they are hurting. They've got to reduce. Let's put it that way. All right. They'll drop 2-3% by October. Next spring, if unemployment goes up, expect further decreases. Now, here's the thing. If employment goes up, rates could go down, because as the economy gets worse and numbers get bad, that's when we start dropping rates. So it could be very good for buyers if that happens. But like I said, I don't have that crystal ball that I ask every single year for Christmas, but you know, we'll see. All right. Is asking for buyer's agent fee considered as seller concession in this market? No, here's the thing for us. Buyers, like if we represent someone, we normally have an easy time getting like the 2.5 paid by the sellers. It's not like a guarantee. I can't tell you it's absolutely guaranteed, but normally, you know, it's in our market, it's almost like standard. Like You just expect it. Even when we go to listing appointments, we always tell them, you know what, it is negotiable. It's not something you have to do, but in our market, it's normally standard that you factor in the 2.5 that's coming in from the buyer's agent. I think buyer's agents tend to get a little greedy on the 3% and 3.5, but normally what we do with our listings is we kind of just say, you know what, like that's just kind of what we've been seeing in our market. But again, completely negotiable. All right. Any advice how to structure a deal when shopping for homes with HVAC and roof up for replacement? Normally what I find is that, you know, I would negotiate that before you put in the offer. Here's a trick, right? If you can price out the HVAC, if you can price all that stuff, the roof and everything too, into the offer you're submitting and then point it out to the agent, that's what I would do. I wouldn't just, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you know what, let's just put in an offer and then we'll beat them up for the inspections afterwards. It depends on the seller. If you can identify the seller that they really, really need to sell, at times you can get that done. But there are sellers that, personally myself, I would rather negotiate that stuff before I went into contract, as opposed to telling my client, oh yeah, we'll get you like $15,000. We'll do this, we'll do that. Sometimes you just can't. And I would much rather know that up front for my clients and say, look, here's the thing. You listed the house for $650. We saw the house, the HVAC is shot, the roof looks like it's ready, you know, it's ready to be replaced. So you listed the house for $650, and taking into account the HVAC, taking into account the roof, we're going to give you an offer for $600,000, but we're not going to come at you for the roof. We're not going to come at you for the HVAC. And it's basically, if there's any other big ticket items, we'll address that later. But at the same time, as far as, you know, we can like, let's come to an agreement that this price that we're going in at does cover the HVAC and the roof. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to promise my clients that we're going to get money for the HVAC and roof if at the end of the day I run into a seller that's sitting on a 2.75, or they have another offer that they're leveraging me and saying, I'm not giving you anything. So I would much rather know this before I get into contract, as opposed to, you know, give my client a false hope and say, oh yeah, I'm going to get you that money, and then get into contract, have them spend money on appraisal, all their inspectors, and then they're saying to you, hey, Mark, you know, like, now remember you told us about the HVAC and this and everything too. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? They just won't budge. I don't really think that that's fair to clients. So I would rather kind of get this hit it at the very beginning and see if there's wiggle room that we could do on the price or the offer, as opposed to getting down the road and having to tackle that. And then, you know, you've already been down all the, you know, inspection costs of what, $1,000, appraisal costs like $600. And then all of a sudden you're saying, you're asking me, all right, Mark, hey, HVAC, roof, we're good to go, right? And I'm like, yeah, they won't do it. I mean, that's just not good form in my opinion. So that would just be me. All right. Everyone's thinking prices are going down. All right, let's see if we can end this with a bang. All right, guys, if you guys have any last questions, let me know. I'd appreciate a like, comment, all that kind of fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to be releasing a video on the Double S Ranch in Roseville on Friday. If you guys love the video, if you guys are taking a look at the Double S Ranch, make sure to mention my name, Mark. I don't even have to go with you. They will tie you in. We'll look over all the contracts. And like I said, for all the new home builders that we work with, if you are working and you want a brand new home, a lot of realtors right now are making you sign the buyer broker, where basically they're like signing you to 3%, 2.5%. And a lot of these new home sales don't cover the entire commission of your realtor. We are one of the only teams that we go to the builder and the builder will pay our entire fee. Not one penny will come out of your pocket, and we would love to work with you. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this live. I'm going to go and relax a little bit. It has been a long day. Like I said, I've been traveling all over Sacramento. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live. Again, Friday at 7, I'll drop another video, and have a good one. I'll see you next week, Wednesday live. Bring your questions and your comments. I'll see you then. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show. What do you guys think about the California housing market? Are we in trouble? Is Sacramento, California are we going to see price drops? Is it going to be a better time to buy later on this year? I want to know what you think. Please put them in the comments below. Any questions you have also, I'll make sure to answer them. Now, guys, we are a real estate team in the area. And if you're thinking about moving into this area or you're thinking about moving around this area, we'd love to work with you. There's a Zoom link below. Hit that Zoom link, set up a time where we can talk to you, answer any questions you might have about the Sacramento area and why it might be the best move you ever make. Now, if you're thinking about selling your home, guys, we'd love to talk to you a little bit and show you how we've been using social media to sell homes. We don't just list your home, we actually sell it, and we love to work with you. Now, one last thing before I go, there's a playlist right over there of other lives I've done and videos about the Sacramento area. Education is key. Those videos will help you get a little idea if Sacramento is that spot for you, and then reach out to our team. We can answer any questions you have additionally. Guys, this is Mark. Hopefully you enjoyed the live show. Smash that like button. Till the next video.